Today is Tuesday, June 23rd. We will use the Archangel Power Tarot by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. Hope you're well. And it's Power all the time. We're also going to use the Power Animal Oracle card deck by Stephen D. Farmer, Ph.D. All right, what are the messages here for us today? Tuesday, June 23rd. This is a message for the collective. Posted on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. That's how the messages get out to the people who need to see it. And if you have somebody who you think may need to see it, make sure that they see it by sharing it to them directly. If you want your own private reading, you can direct message me on any of the platforms, and I'm happy to set up a time with you. What do we have here? Six of Gabriel. Congratulations. You've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project. Awards, scholarships, or promotions. The Six of Wands, this is the wands in other tarot decks. This has been coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. And I notice here that, you know, one of the things that was coming up in other readings was knowing that you've done a good job, feeling that you've done it, you know what I mean? Like feeling like you've come, your approach has been good, the way your actions have been good, you feel good about the actions that you've taken, even if they've been choosing to not act. Choosing to not act, it is a decision as well. And that is, you know, because there is an actionable thing that's, you know, there is a decision is an action. It's just maybe unseen, kind of, but nothing is unseen. It can be felt. And so, and the more important thing is about how you feel about it, because at the, you know, people pleasing, you know, we can't ever know what people really want. And often people don't even express what they really want. So how can we address the needs, right? Otherwise, we're always in, you know, kind of in a cycle of disappointment, and then worse, of course, right? But you know, this is something about how you feel good about how you've handled things. And I note that this person, there's sometimes in the Six of Wands card, there's like a crowd around the person. But in this instance, there's nobody but Archangel Gabriel and this person on the horse. That's it. So this is definitely feeling that you've done well. You're proud of how, you know, and you can move on to the next. You've handled it well. If there's something more to be done, you'll know, and you'll handle that too. So this is a very capable person. The Seven of Wands, I think, is what came up in yesterday's reading. And, you know, that was also, you know, there might be some self-defensiveness about how you're handling things. But, you know, again, so, you know, but, you know, to come away from self-defensiveness and come back to that place of, you know, being in more of a give and take, and knowing that, you know, and being more, just comfortable with how, comfortable in your own skin rather than self-defensive and, you know, over explaining. This person doesn't do that. And if you're in a true Seven of Wands, you're combining with spirit to know that, you know what I mean, to actually feel good. And so Six of Raphael is here. And this is embrace your inner child, new friendships or rekindled relationships, children or childhood. So this is also recognizing that, you know, in the middle of this reading, that you are, you're taking care of yourself. You've been tender with yourself through whatever it is that you've been recently dealing with. And you may be feeling a little bit tender, and that's fine. That's fine. That's good to know. Because if you're taking good care of yourself and your needs and your feelings, which the Six of Raphael is the Six of Cups in a tarot deck. So this would be, definitely about feelings, emotional, your spiritual foundation, your creative endeavors, and when we're taking good care of ourselves and we're listening to ourselves, our creative endeavors are actually also going to come out, well. We're going to be happy with how we've handled ourselves. That and in this, I'm thinking of the word kid gloves is what's coming. Handling things with kid gloves, like being careful, not, knowing that you are doing the most, that your intentions are in the right place, that you're trying to take care of all aspects in a way that is respectful of the tender feelings, and and in a way that, there's a childlike innocence about it. That's what I'm also thinking about. Is like, especially with this deck, it's really obviously children. That's very emphasized in this particular deck. And always, and usually in the traditional tarot, it's always, small people at various in varying degrees. So we definitely, we're handling things in a way that addresses our inner, emotions. And again, we've come forward in a way that, we're addressing the vulnerabilities. We're acknowledging our vulnerabilities, and therefore we're much better able to, be compassionate to the vulnerabilities of others. And so Five of Raphael is coming up. So, this is the step down from the Six of Raphael. So, coming in is, like, everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. So coming as a bookend with that, like, there may be some tender feelings coming up that you might have to deal with, but you have the ability to move on and know that the situation is concluded, and you can, instead of looking at things as half empty, like, recognize that you're in a beautiful room. There's a gift here for you that's unwrapped. You don't know what's in it, but like a child, if we can approach it with a childlike innocence about being, happy about what's offered to us, we don't end up looking at the boxes that were empty. Usually there's two. Oh, actually, and there is two packages. So I was going to say, usually in a five, there's it's like three cups. Remember, the Raphael is the suit of cups. So there's usually the three cups that are empty, but two cups remain. And there are, if you look carefully, there are two wrapped packages there. So it's not just one, but there's two. So, and they go together, They're meant to be together. So there's something that, and you can see that she's actually turning away from, and Archangel Raphael is blessing and healing that other situation, which, sometimes is what we don't always, which kind of keeps us from moving on. You've done a wonderful job. That situation is over. It's time to move on to the next project, to really close the door on that. And Archangel Raphael is actually here. He's the healing angel. He's in charge of healing situations, relationships, wounds, emotional, physical, all kinds of things. And sometimes part of what keeps us from moving on is we don't trust that something has come to conclusion in a healthy way. We kind of want to control instead how that healing was supposed to occur. But we can't possibly do that. We can't be utilizing our energy. This is, the wands are energy. We can't really be utilizing our energy well if we keep, like, looking in the rearview mirror and we're trying to control things over here. But we need our energy to meet what's coming toward us, to come at things with a fresh, open eyes. And we might be feeling a little vulnerable. There might be some of that going on, and there might be some grief or some loss, or some tenderness about that. But we can't control how things are supposed to heal for whatever part of the situation that is actually well behind us. We want to be able to be to know and ensure that in the uncertainty that things have gone, are okay. We can't know that. And that's, that's part of the death. That's part of like our own, I think, I'm just sharing some things that are coming up. I think part of our difficulty with death and dying and loss and things like that is because we don't know what's gone on. We assume that it hasn't gone well, but that's an assumption. It's an assumption. And we don't know what the healing journey is completely for ourselves again. So how can we possibly know what the healing journey is? We only have our own life to live. And we should live it with joy and, expectation and, oh, wow, what's this new thing? I don't know anything about it, but I don't know. It's a present. It's hard to get excited about the gifts if we're still, again, just looking at what didn't pan out. Like, oh, they weren't, or you maybe outgrown those gifts. Maybe you've outgrown them. What have you outgrown? That's another interpretation of the Six of Cups. What have you outgrown? Raccoon, resourcefulness. So this is the Power Animal Oracle card deck by Stephen D. Farmer. You have all the resources you need. I love that. Raccoon. It's our buddy Raccoon. They're tricksters too. They're all super curious and very, very resourceful. Everything you need is right in front of you if you only look. See? There's no need to be fussing about this and that, creating drama and turmoil, worrying about whether you'll have the next hour, enough in the next hour, the next day, or the next week. Whatever you need will be there. You might have to forage a little, but it will. But it will be there. Trust that. There's nothing to fret or worry about. Not really. Use your brain instead of use your brain and your intuition in partnership. So we have, a lot of intuition. The cups is that suit of intuition, right? In partnership to not only help you solve the problem, but to actually solve the problem. At first, it may not be obvious where to look, but that's why you have to poke around a bit until you turn up what you need for this or any other situation. Sometimes when you follow your hunch and look under the couch for your lost wallet, you find the wallet. That reminds me, I'm looking for something. Anyway, never mind. And don't get tweaked if all the steps you take don't lead to an immediate solution. Don't proceed blindly or out of anxiety or fear. It's impossible to hear your intuition or your brain when you're jumping around randomly, so relax. Trust that what you need will turn up. Stealth, ingenuity, cleverness, and dexterity. These guys are, and they're very curious, and they can get into anything, as you know. So anchor on that. Like, share, subscribe, like I said. Enjoy this message. Comment on it. I'd love to hear how this energy is turning out for you. And I'll come back and give you another reading tomorrow. Much love. Have a great day.